in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major water.
Welcome to the Storm meeting. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Can we do our roll call?
Member Gore. Here. Mayor Bonta.
Here.
Member Kressel.
Here.
Attorney Elwood.
Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting? Are there any corrections or a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Gets us to the staff reports. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, afternoon, everyone. Nice and bright and early afternoon this time. So, okay, everything with Storm's been going okay. We're investigating the pipe over by Willow Creek School, since they're going to redo their school and move their football field and everything. We have a sanitary and a storm line there. The storm line is a very big storm line, and we're trying to go through it. We're trying to find another manhole because we got an area all the way from Willow Creek to the Boys and Girls Club that doesn't have a manhole. That's a long distance. Usually you have manholes every 300 feet, typically. But this line was put in early 70s, so that might not be the case. But we're gonna have to see if we could figure this out. So we're kind of working on that. We had a sweeper down, not for very long, and it's back in operation now. So we'll continue sweeping until the weather dictates that we can't. Other than that, that's about it for storm. Any questions?
Yeah,
Thank you.
curious about the technique of investigating the sewer line you were talking about. Is that done by, say, camera, remote, or do you actually do an entrance?
It could be a camera. We actually stuck a jet nozzle in to kind of run it through there and clean it out first. And this starts over by the toll road where Camden Apartments are right here. If you go down to the end and you just park right at the very end, that's where it goes underneath Willow Creek. Well, we ran the jet nozzle down there and we hit something at 72 and couldn't go any farther. Now it has to go through because obviously it drains or else it would be flooded all the time. So so I told them to change the nozzle because they used just a regular nozzle. I told them to change the nozzle. We have a nozzle that actually has a camera on it. I said, well, change the nozzle, run it in there, and see if you could see with the camera what it may be. It may be it's something with a joint. Maybe that's where a manhole is, and when they went in the manhole and the invert of the pipe was higher than the bottom of the manhole, so it might have went in the manhole and then hit the back of the manhole. So I told them to put the camera in, and this was a little bit later, so I haven't gotten any word back on that yet. And sometimes we go out there and we got a probe. It's a 4-foot long T-handled probe, and at the end it's pointed, and then we take it and we just shove it in the ground till we hit something, and hope it ain't a rock. But anyway, yeah. So that's another way we do it. And then sometimes we'll open up a manhole and actually stick a mirror and take a flashlight and try to look as far up as we can. And I've even walked the pipe. This pipe's big enough that I'd probably have to be like this, but I could actually walk through this pipe. So, which I have done in the past, I've walked in pipes, but typically we don't like doing that, especially if we don't know where the next manhole is, because you always want to have the lid popped on the next manhole, just in case if something happens, you got 2 ways to go. But I have when we did the Stone Avenue project, I walked the pipe several times, all the way from Stone Avenue all the way to Willow Creek, past Willowdale. So, because we had to inspect it, because we had some bad soils and we were having some issues with water coming in. So we actually had to go in there, and they drilled in, put a little like the grease fittings that you have where you put grease in your car. It's the same thing. And they go in there and they spray this foam, and the foam goes around, and when the water hits it, the foam expands. Okay, so whenever they got done, I had to go back down there, re-inspect, and then I'd write on the pipe, good or bad, and then they'd have to come back and do it again. So I've been in pipes several times in the city, so I'm the underground network. But,
Very good information. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
okay. Any more questions?
I think
Okay,
we're good.
thank you all.
Thank you. Gets us to unfinished business, Hidden Waters, Hidden Waters stormwater issues. So I think that's this gentleman here?
Yep.
All right. So did you find any other, or was there anything that got sent to us to review legally about the documents that you were citing?
I sent all the information to Mr. Elwood. It's LARCAB at hotmail.com. You responded to it. Yes. LARCAB@hotmail.com. Right. It might also be Larry B. Larson at outlook.com. Pardon me?
You have a couple of emails in.
Well, Microsoft quit using Hotmail. You responded that you were gonna look them over.
Do you have your email on your phone? Would you be able to forward it right now, just to get it back up to the top of Mr. Elwood's inbox? That's what I usually ask people to do if I can't find an email. If I remember right from the last meeting, I think it has to do with, is it something in your guys' HOA agreement? Or
No.
was it what was the documentation itself?
It's from the documentation that I got from the city finally.
Oh, I understand, but what is the title of the documentation?
Well, the title of the page that it's on is City of Portage Legalities, I believe.
Okay, but what is instead of the page, what's the name of the document the page is in?
Addition to Hidden Waters BMP Maintenance Manual.
So this is a document,
It's quite a lengthy document, and it's very technical.
well, this issue's not technical. This is less
No,
than a paragraph.
the issue's not, but it's, what the document is telling us as lay people to do is unreasonable.
Well, I don't think you're being asked to do it as lay people. I think as a HOA, you're being asked to hire a company to fix a problem if you want to have it fixed. Is that right?
Well, here's the problem,
I mean, I don't know how to fix it myself either, but there are companies I can call and then
but they won't do it for what we can afford to do.
well, I understand, but that's the choice of your organization. I'm not sure what the Hidden Waters HOA membership fees are, but
$50 a year.
yeah, so if you guys want to have a service performed that costs more than that amount of money, you guys need to figure out as an HOA, right, like how you're going to get the money to perform that service. Isn't that how like everything in this country works? That's just a question. I mean, like,
I'm not sure what you're asking, but what
I think what I'm
happened-
asking is it's like if I didn't know how to operate a weed whacker, I might have to call a guy to do some weed whacking for me. And if he wants $100 for it and I don't have it, I think that it's on me to figure out how to get $100 in almost every circumstance, right?
I'm not asking the city for money to pay for this. What happened back in 2007 or 2006?
You're asking the city to do the work, right?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I am asking for, like that document says, that the city is supposed to be examining or inspecting the property annually and getting back to us with a report on what needs to happen. Well, that has never happened.
So you're asking us to come and check it out and then order you guys to fix it
No.
with your
Well,
money?
Kind of.
Yeah, so I mean,
what I'm actually
I don't know if I would ask the government to do that. So for example, if I have a yard that hasn't been weed whacked and code enforcement hasn't shown up, it'd be a little bit weird for me to go to code enforcement and ask them to send me a letter telling me to weed whack, right?
That's not what I'm asking of you. Let me get to it. Since that says that if we don't get it done in a prescribed time period, the city will get it done and charge us for it. What I would like that would help us out immensely, because the city has the expertise in this, is for the city to come out and inspect and determine what needs to get done and just skip that time period where we could do it ourselves, because we can't.
But that's a
And then-
disciplinary procedure. So for
No.
example, again, using my yard example, and I promise it's relevant, certainly if I have a neighbor who doesn't like looking at my unkept or at least unweed whacked yard, right, he might call code enforcement, and then code enforcement's going to make a determination of how to handle my unkept property. And that what the first thing they're going to do is they're going to give me a duration of time that I have to get my yard weed whacked. The document you're citing, if it's legally enforceable, it says that the city has the ability to go take a look at your water infrastructure, order you to fix it within a period of time, and if you don't, then the city has the ability to take care of it and send you the bill. But what happens when we send you the bill if you can't afford to just get it fixed on your own? What's going to happen if the city fixes it?
It's not a matter of being able to afford it.
Oh,
sir.
it definitely is. You'll have to
no,
pay
it's-
the city for the work done. You absolutely,
that
we are
is
not doing it,
correct.
sir, we are not doing it for free.
I'm not
So,
asking you
so,
to. Wait,
so my,
let me-
I really think I'm asking a reasonable question. If the city in any capacity comes out and fixes it, there's going to be a cost, and I don't want to estimate what that cost is, but I'm guessing it's a bit, and we're going to send the bill to your HOA. Now, my question is, after we then in this potential future send a bill to your HOA for, Mr. Commenda, could you even give me a rough estimate of what that might cost?
100,000, well, I think,
Let's stop there. So we send a bill to the Hidden Waters HOA in this example after we've got the work done for $100,000. Are you going to then go to your HOA board and increase your HOA dues so that you have $100,000 to pay back the city? That is a question, yes or no?
We cannot increase our dues, but we can have a special assessment for maintenance.
You
So
can
if
make
I
that
have
yourself?
Pardon me?
You can have that made yourself, or?
Yes. We can do
Okay.
that special assessment. So if I have that number, which I've been trying to get a number for several months now, from a contractor that believe works with the
Mr.
city
Hannon?
as well.
Yeah, if I could, maybe I could help. I've already been out to the property, the subdivision with Larry, right?
Mhm.
Larry. We've walked it. We've agreed generally on a scope of work. And we've helped get Larry in touch with a contractor that we think is competent to do the work. So we've got the scope of work generally agreed on. We're trying to help them get in touch with the contractor. The contractor has been 100% responsive. Maybe we could get you in touch with a different contractor. But we have basically done the inspection and done an agreement on the scope.
And I think that's extremely helpful. To go back to my weed whacker example, right? If the code enforcement officer came to my house and took a look and then gave me like a list of people I can call to do landscaping, that's great. But the city should not be paying the landscaping company to do my house. I have to call a landscaper and get it done. So I guess I'm trying to figure out is if Hidden Waters is going to pay for the service to be done, and you believe you have the means to pay for the service to have it done, why is it that you're asking us to take either city employees or for the city to pay a contractor to do work you say that you can afford and then send the bill to you?
I am not asking you to pay the contractor.
Okay, then
What
what are you asking us to do?
I'm asking you,
Seriously, what I thought you were asking for at the last meeting and this one. So what are you asking the city to do in one sentence? Is it possible?
well, I hope so. I thought I was doing that.
Someone
but
has to do the work and it's going to have a high cost.
Right.
My question is, who's going to pay for that?
I want the city to help us arrange that work to be done.
It sounds like that's happening. So what are we talking about here?
I want the city to be able to get this contractor lined up.
That's not the
Get-
city's job, sir. What is your title again? No,
Never
I'd like to know
mind.
what your title is.
Forget it.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Hannon, I appreciate all the work you're doing to help the Hidden Waters HOA president. I'm sorry, is that his title?
I think so. Are you the president, Larry?
I'm the treasurer.
Okay, so you're the treasurer, but here's the thing. This is work that is going to have a cost. It's the responsibility of the HOA to do the cost. The city is happy if you're not sure how to Google and find somebody to do this work. I think it's great that we have our city engineer taking time to help you find someone to do this work. I think that that's great. But I don't understand what you're asking this board to do. What are you asking this board to vote on?
I'm here because when I talked to Tracy about it, she said she has to talk to the board about it.
Talk to the board about what?
About what I just mentioned.
Well,
them making-
no, you didn't mention anything. As said, Mr. Hannon is helping you figure out how to
That
find a
did not come.
company.
I came across John Hannon by mistake.
That's great. He's
because-
our city engineer, though.
Because
Yeah.
for years, I have been trying to get this documentation from the city. I finally gave up and I thought, I'm going to open the yellow pages and just call a civil engineer. I did, and it just so happened to be the city engineer.
So what is it you would like the three of us to vote on? This board can only vote on action. What is the action you are asking this board to vote on?
I don't know what action it needs to be. Can I first?
Go ahead.
Can I start from the beginning?
You kind of already did at the last meeting.
Well, no, not
What is
really.
the request of the board, sir?
The request is to listen to me for a minute.
We've been listening to you for
The-
2 meetings now, and we thought what you were asking us to do was pay to have this done and then
No,
send you
that
the
is
bill
not
later.
What I'm asking for.
Okay, then
And
what
I
is it?
stated that at the last meeting, that I am not asking for you to pay for anything. What happened back in 2006 or 7, when you guys were maybe in high school still, was I believe that the developer and the city planning commission, I don't know if wittingly or not, colluded to make an untenable situation for the residents of Hidden Waters. They voted.
Hold on.
Okay, maybe that's the wrong word.
The documents that you sent me. And these are documents that no board approved in the city of Portage. These were provided and submitted by your developer as part of the development plan. So we're not bound by anything in this document.
Okay, well, what seems to me, whether, again, wittingly or unwittingly, the developer presented this plan to you folks, or not you guys, but the planning commission at the time, and they asked him, well, who's going to pay for this? And this has been explained to me by, if not Mr. Comendo, one of the other people in that department. The developer just says, we're going to have a homeowners association. And the board says, okay. But the board does not investigate at all to see if what they're being asked, what the homeowners are being asked to do, they can actually do for $50 a year.
The job of the property owners that are buying in that subdivision to understand what the HOA is and isn't.
And if the HOA incurs fees, it's up to the decision of the governing body of the HOA to determine how they're going to pay for those expenses.
We understand what the HOA covenants.
Again, I hope you don't mind my weed whacker example. I just think it's the smoothest way I can say it, right? So I've got a yard, it needs weed whacking. How long am I supposed to take to figure out if the city has rules, whether or not I have to maintain my yard, right? I mean, or what's expected of my yard, right?
Okay, but I knew that you had rules. But I
Okay.
couldn't find anyone in the city to tell me what they were.
When did you first go to a board like this?
This is my, well, last time was
Well,
my
you said you
first
spent
board
years,
meeting.
so I've only
On
seen
the
you.
phone, I have requested it of people. Dan has been out to see me probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we walked the property. And and the president of the association met in your office with you when you asked Dan and the gentleman from the planning commission to get me a letter explaining exactly what it is that we have to do. That never happened.
So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, again, it looks like what the matter's about is there's a repair to something that is the responsibility of the HOA to either maintain or fix, and you want to get it fixed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start there. You have the ability to go on Google and find a company that can do that. You do. You can go on. You sent him an email. I watched you. You could go on Google and find companies that do that. And in addition to that, you've been in contact with the city engineer who's been able to show you places that can do that. One way or another, what could happen is if the city wanted to, we could inspect it and say, you have to fix it within this many days. And we would use the professional judgment of our engineer and our officials to do that. Now, day 1, day 2, day 3, eventually we get to the deadline and you have not gotten it done, hypothetically, right? And you would say, I guess, that you weren't sure who to call to get it fixed or something like that, right?
No.
Okay, so if we order you to get it done, you will get the money and get a contractor and get it done?
I have.
That's
when
a
I
yes
was-
or no question.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there we
I'll do what
go.
I have to do. What I'm asking
So,
for
so
is a
Dan,
little
I guess
help.
what we want to do is, do we want to entertain a vote to send an inspector to take a look at this thing and then formally give the Hidden Waters an order to fix their infrastructure? Is that what's being asked? Do you want us to vote to send our inspector out, and if we find it's not working, you guys are ordered to fix it? Is that what you're asking? That's not that's a question. Is that what you're asking us to do? Because that's step 1.
Well,
And then
Only
if you,
you're gonna follow that up.
well, so yeah, so
with
if
what
we,
that
if we
document
give you
says.
a time period of days, Mr. Hannon, if the inspector went out and it was determined by the board or by Portage Utilities that Hidden Waters needs to fix this piece of infrastructure, the HOA board, how many days is typical for us to give them to get it done? I know with code enforcement on grass, it's a pretty short amount of time, right? But
Given the situation and the season, I would say next June.
so if we gave you guys till next June after our this is all hypothetical because I don't know what our inspector is going to determine. You're asking us to send an inspector out to give you guys like a legally binding order that your HOA is required to fix it by next June?
Of exactly what has to happen.
Oh, no, I'm asking though, that's what you're asking us to do? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, and then by next June, Hidden Waters HOA will have it fixed and paid for by the Hidden Waters HOA?
I don't know, how long has it been since we started talking, 9 months? So.
Well, it's really, I mean, if,
It's
are you,
been that
are you
long.
speaking for the HOA board right now? Are you speaking as yourself?
It's the board.
You're speaking as the board. So what we'd like to know from the Hidden Waters Board is if we instruct you guys to fix it by June, which means you have to pay for it by June, you guys will have it fixed and paid for by June. That is your, that's your goal, your determination.
If we can get a price.
Well, we don't give the
I'm
price.
not asking you for the price.
It's, well,
I have been trying for like 9 months now to get a price.
it doesn't
from
work like
from a
that. If
contractor.
code enforcement shows up at somebody's house and says, you have 2 weeks to mow this lawn, the guy doesn't get to say, I'll do that as long as I can get the price for a landscaper.
I'm telling you, without a price, I can't put a number in my budget. So we're gonna be time to get it done from the time that I can get it put into my budget.
The reason why it matters is because we cannot delay an order to fix something that is your responsibility to fix. So if June happens and you don't have it fixed, the city does have, according to this document, the ability to have it fixed, but that's going to be possibly a $100,000 cost that then has to be paid by the HOA. Are you guys going to pay that then?
Yes.
Why not just do it now? Why are you coming to us asking, why are you asking us to order you to do it if you have the means to do it?
He doesn't. He can't get a price. He just needs a little help to get a contractor to give him the price. The contractor needs a little push. He's just asking for a little help from the city to get somebody to come in and give him a price. That's all he's asking.
That's what we're doing. Yes, sir.
You could go to the building department, and they have every licensed, city contractor in there. If you tell them you need grading done or stormwater done, they can give you the numbers of all the contractors they have in there, and you can start tell them to come out there and every one of them will give you a quote.
And I'll be transparent. The reason I'm concerned is one of two things. I'm concerned about the board voting to order you to do this, and then you go to your HOA members and you say, hey guys, you have to pay all this money to us because the city is ordering us to do that. My second concern, though, is that if you guys don't fix it in the prescribed time, now you're saying you want us to fix it, pay the money, and then what happens if the ratepayers' money is spent to fix this private issue? And then what happens if we send you a bill and the Hidden Waters Board doesn't pay it to us? And I understand that what you're saying is you want to get the money and pay a contractor yourself. And as Dan said, you can walk to the building department and ask for a list of every licensed contractor who does that, and they can tell you. That's why I'm asking what you're asking this board to do. It doesn't make sense to me that if you have the money to fix it, you can get the money to fix it. And if you need help finding a contractor, you've already been talking to Mr. Hannon. It sounds like he's already shown you some contractors who can do the work. You don't need this board to vote to tell him to help you find a contractor.
Well, for one thing, we are not a paid full-time property management company. We are all residents of Hidden Waters. Our board is all voluntary. So we don't have the resources even to spend looking for people. So I'm not, okay.
What do you
thank-
mean
thank
spend
you
money
very
looking
much
for
your time.
people? Do contractors like make you pay to meet with them to talk about it? I actually don't know what you mean.
It takes time, sir.
I really just don't understand. It really sounds like what you're asking for is some arrangement where the utility department fixes the issue. That's not what you're saying.
No, I don't want them to fix the issue. I understand that if indeed the city were to have it done, they would contact a contractor, like the one I've been trying to talk to, and actually he works for the city a lot of the times. And he said that that would work out great if we could work through the city department, because you guys, not you guys specifically, but there's someone within the city that knows what has to get done, knows how to do it, knows how to build the time frame for it, and can get all that stuff done, and then put it in my lap and let me get the money. And if we have to get a letter of credit for you or whatever you have to do before the work happens, fine.
Why would we need a letter? You're paying the contractor.
Because you're telling me that you don't want to do it because you don't think we can pay.
No, we wouldn't have to do anything if you just find a contractor and pay him or her. The city doesn't enter into it. Yes, Mr. Hannon?
One more thing I think I would say is the covenants that you were talking about, Larry, they're very well done. And then what they really anticipate is that the homeowners association would hire a professional management firm. That management firm would be responsible to the board, the HOA board, and they would take responsibility for all of the routine tasks that the HOA is responsible for, including they would have the professional ability to hire, identify contractors, put together a scope of work, get quotes, and then present them to the board. That's a well-run HOA, and that's what these documents contemplate, but it's not what we have in front of us.
Is it required by those documents?
It's,
Within the documents?
It's not required, but all I'm saying is that they're very sophisticated documents, and obviously they anticipate having a professional management firm running the day-to-day tasks for the HOA. And that's just not what we have here. They have a very low HOA fee, and they're trying to do it all on their own. It's a citizen-run board.
I think that's great if that's what the residents who are members of the HOA choose to do.
Yep.
But as our attorney has said, it's not our job to set the policies or the fees of the HOA, right?
That's exactly right.
And I apologize if I've just been misunderstanding you the whole time. It's just, because I understand that you guys aren't paid to be on your HOA board because your HOA board hasn't voted to pay yourselves. I think that that's admirable. I understand that it takes time to find a contractor, I really do. I just don't understand where this board legally fits into it,
Well, apparently the misunderstanding is on my part, because I thought that our city government was here to support us and help however they can, but apparently I was wrong, and I apologize for taking up your time, but thank you so much.
Well, I definitely think we're here to help, and as noted, our city engineer and the department has already been working with you to find a contractor, but because you're here at the board and you've been describing action you want us to take, it would just be nice to know what action you're asking this board to take for this board to vote on. If you need help finding a contractor, you can go to the building department and look for a list. Mr. Hannon is our city engineer, and he's happy to work with you. I think he's still happy to work with you on finding a contractor that your board might hopefully decide to pay to fix the issue.
I'm in front of this board because Tracy told me that that's what she had to do. So
I think
came
that,
here
well,
to
and
try to back up
I'll tell you, and I know Tracy very well, was that she had the same impression that I had, which you were asking for this board to in some way authorize the city to fix it. Mr. Commenda, I was under this impression, I think you were too. I believed, and I think she did too, you were coming here to ask the board to approve the city fixing the issue, and I assume then you wanted the city, after fixing the issue, to send the HOA the bill. I had concerns about that. If that wasn't your intention, then I'm sorry we misunderstood. But if that was your intention, I have big concerns about the city paying a lot of money to fix a private HOA issue and then sending the HOA the bill. And it's not to be a statement against Hidden Waters. It's a wonderful neighborhood with wonderful people, great families. I've talked to many of them, and including about this issue. But if we're going to do something as a city and pay for it and then send a private entity the bill, we certainly would have to know that the bill could be paid. And at the same time, if the bill can be paid to us, it can also just be paid directly to the contractor to fix this issue. And I apologize if there's any offense taken in my code enforcement example, but I guess to me, if I didn't have my yard taken care of and code enforcement came to me and said, you have to mow your yard, if I came to a city board saying, I need help finding a landscaping company, the board would be confused because they would think I could find one. And then if the board was under the impression that I was asking the city to hire the landscaping company for me and then send me the bill, I would think that the city would say that's kind of an odd arrangement, right? Like, why don't you just pay the bill yourself if you have the money to pay the bill? I really hope that makes sense. And if that's not your intention, then I'm sorry for misunderstanding it, but it's what I think we all believed you were coming here asking us for. If you're just asking for help finding a contractor so that your board can privately contract with and pay that contractor, we're happy to help, as said already, but that doesn't take a board vote. We were here because we were under the impression, or at least we wanted to make sure if we were right, you were asking for, and I think if you go back and watch the recording of the last meeting and this meeting, you referred to the city having expertise in doing this, which again, I think gave the impression you were asking the city to do
What
it.
I'm asking the city to do is to make the arrangements with the contractor for what has to get done, and we will contract with that contractor once he knows what it is that has to happen.
I would have
I
to
don't have
ask
the-
my fellow board members, I just don't feel like that's appropriate. I don't think it's a good idea for a code enforcement officer to call a landscaping company, pick that landscaping company, and then recommend that landscaping company like directly to someone who needs their grass mowed. I think it would be
I'll pick the
better.
contractor, but I don't have the ability to tell this contractor, this is what you have to do.
But the city's
And I
willing to
don't
help
know
you
even
understand
how
what you
the
need to
contractor
do.
should do that.
And then I think once, so are you asking to just have a meeting with Mr. Hannon so that he could explain to you everything you need to do, and once you understand it, then you can go out and find a contractor?
No, because I can't learn that now. I'm an old dog.
Maybe he could give you a list of things, like maybe Mr. Hannon could write something, and then you could show what he's written down to the contractors you
We
find,
have this manual that I just sent to Mr. Elwood.
which I think it's amazing that you were able to,
He's asking for a scope of work that a contractor could bid on.
okay.
I think that's what,
And I think that could be very appropriate. Again, using my lighthearted example of grass mowing, right? If I don't understand what grass mowing is about, I could probably ask for someone to give a description of what my yard should look like, right? And then I could show that to a landscaping company. If you're asking for a scope of work, I think that could be appropriate. And so you're saying you'd like our city engineer to come up with the scope of work of what we believe is necessary for this to be fixed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And once he creates that scope of work, your board will pursue contractors who will study that scope of work?
Yes. I need something to hand to a contractor and say, this is what I need done.
Mr. Elwood, is that something legally that meets muster for this board? Like, could we approve, like, or authorize that a scope of work that meets our city standards is made? Again, I do see there could be some potential concerns there, especially because there's currently no discipline being done on.
Paying for the preparation of the scope of work, I have some concerns with that. When I'm bound by this, this was not sent to me to tell me what the scope of work was. This was sent to me to look at one paragraph to see if the city was bound by this.
And by the same token, you guys as an HOA board, you could go to an engineer, any engineer, right, and ask that engineer to take a look at your situation and give you a scope of work to fix it, right?
We could, but we won't know what we're being told. I mean,
I mean, an
just as-
engineer, a certified
this is-
engineer would be able to tell you what work needs to be done.
We're talking about infrastructure for a whole community that we are not prepared to deal with. We don't mind paying for it.
But you own it. How can, what if a resident on the east side of town or west side of town came in and asked the city to pay for an engineer to come up with a scope of work or plans or whatever? That's not right. They shouldn't pay, other taxpayers shouldn't pay for your property.
And I guess that's my thing too, is it's like, so if I've got, again, I'm gonna use a different example, maybe this will work. If I have a deck that collapsed, right? I need to get my deck fixed. I can go to the building department, right? And I can ask like for a list of contractors that build decks, right? But I mean, it would be, I can't imagine going to the city and asking the city to pay for someone to create a scope of work for my deck, and then I take that scope of work the city paid for, and then show it to people who build decks, right?
I don't deal in decks, I don't know.
No, it's just kind of a simple thing. I mean, like, I gotta just find a guy who does decks and come up with this, right?
Pardon me, I'm just really frustrated over this whole situation because people like Brian here have water that backs up into his yard and smells most of the year. And I just don't know what to do for
Well,
him.
I've known Brian my whole life, and I care about him greatly. It is great to see you, and I don't want to cause any trouble for you, but certainly if there was something broken that was owned by the city that was causing your problem, or if there was a city issue causing your problem, then it would be on this board to fix it. But this is privately owned infrastructure, and the entity that owns it is your HOA. Am I right?
Does stormwater come from the city's roads though? Does that not count for anything?
Mr. Hannon, this is separate from the city's stormwater infrastructure, right?
The nature of this subdivision, when it was approved, is such that the major lines in the streets and the systems in the streets are under the jurisdiction of our department. The outlet pipes that run basically in people's backyards are the responsibility of the HOA. So it is a bit of a hybrid situation.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So the part that's broken that needs to be fixed, I was under the impression that this was part of the private infrastructure that's to be maintained by the HOA.
That's my understanding also.
I have a question, if I may. I've been told during these trials of things over the years that what's written on the plans for the subdivision takes precedence over anything else, over any other documents or covenants or anything like that. Is that true?
I don't know who told you
Somebody here. But the notes on the plans, on the original plan, say that the HOA is to be responsible for the landscaping of these forebays. So what constitutes landscaping? I mean, that seems
Well, now
to
we're
be
kind
like
of-
trimming the weeds.
The developer submitted this to the city, saying, we're gonna maintain this system. So, it's clearly HOA's responsibility. Sold.
Okay.
And we're happy to help you, I guess, like, get a list of contractors and people who are available to do this work. But again, I just feel like, to Mr. Elwood's point, I do think that when something is a private company's responsibility, a private owner's responsibility, or when a matter is the responsibility of in this case, an HOA, like a nonprofit organization, you acknowledge that this is the HOA's responsibility, and you're saying that you want to pay for it, and the HOA has the means to pay for it. You're asking for the city's help to find a contractor, right?
Yeah, no, not this, I just said that I'll pick the contractor even. I just need you guys to make sure that this contractor knows what has to happen. And then from there.
Mr. Hannon, that would fall under could that potentially, I'm sorry,
The people in the building department, they tested to be able to do work in the city. So anybody that's licensed there is licensed and bonded to do the work that you need to be done. And the reason they're licensed and bonded is because if there is an issue, you can go back to them to make sure it gets fixed, right?
because, yeah, I mean, the
understand
contractor's
that.
still going to have to come to the city for permits, right?
I think we've kind of gone around in circles.
Yeah.
I feel like we have too.
The first,
Yeah,
sorry, John. The first thing you need to do is hire an engineer to come up with a plan, okay? You gotta have something on paper that a contractor can look at, okay? And say, okay, this is the work I want you to perform. And they need to be able to look at it, then they can give you a quote. So you get, you hire an engineer, whether it be Mr. Hannon's firm or any other firm, and you ask them to come up with a plan. And when they draw that plan up, okay, they'll come up with plans and put all the specs and everything that needs to be done. Then you pick out contractors or have the engineer for you, send it to contractors he's familiar with. He can send it to them. They will come back with quotes, and then you have to go to your board and accept the lowest quote and then proceed.
Well, they actually don't have to do that. I think
Well,
the
you don't
government
have
has to do that,
But
but
that's typically.
they probably should.
I mean, you wouldn't take the highest bid, you'd probably take the lowest.
Dan, does the work, so if the board goes and they find a contractor, they talk to an engineer and then they find a contractor they like, doesn't that contractor have to come and get permits for the city? Or is it something that doesn't need a permit to do?
No, yeah, they would need probably some permits, because they probably need a stormwater or drainage permit if they're doing land disturbance.
Well, so then there's your city help, because once you got your engineer and you guys pick a contractor, your contractor is going to come up with the plan. They're going to come to the city with permit requests, applications, and then the city's going to review those permit request applications. So to your point, if your contractor has a scope of work or a plan that doesn't work with the city's rules, we're going to catch that during the permitting process, right? Yeah.
Debatable.
Well, I would think that we've got really good people in our building department and utilities department who do very good at handling permits. But again, I feel like, and I apologize, for some of us, that's just kind of, maybe it's just because we do it every day. We already know that permits are going to be reviewed before approved and whatnot. And I think that's why we misunderstood and thought your intention was to try to get the city to pay for the initial work. And if that's not your intention, we're happy to guide you to where you can find a contractor. But again, we can't like set up the deal with the contractor. That's the responsibility of your board. But certainly once your board picks a contractor, you figure out how you're going to pay them, then you can come to the city, the contractor, review the permit app. If the permit applications are approved, that's your good to go. Like they're going to do work that's approved by the city. If they deny your permit application, well, that means there's a problem and your contractor is going to have to fix it before they begin the work. That's true of decks and pretty much everything.
My frustration is that I have been trying to do that since 2017. And
You've been trying to find a contractor
I
since
have been
2017?
to get down to, I've been trying to get the documentation that I needed. I've been trying to get a contractor.
I assure you, and I can't speak for 2017, but I assure you that if 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, or 24, if your board had selected a contractor and that contractor came up with what they wanted to do, and then they brought what they wanted to do to the city in the form of requesting a permit or permits, the city would have either told them, yes, these permits are approved, or they would have told them, no, these permits are not approved. And you would be able to move forward on getting this fixed. But you would have to pay for it yourself.
If we had this documentation and knew what it was that we were supposed to do, and we started doing it in 2017, we wouldn't be looking at a
Well, no, if
$100,000 bill.
whether you
now.
have documentation or not, if something is broken and you hire a contractor to fix it, and the contractor comes to the city with a permit application, you're going to find out whether that permit application was approved or denied. And if there was a denial and your contractor disagreed with it, they would push the city to know why, and the rest would get figured out.
Okay. Brian, you got any questions? All right, thank you so much.
And
for
I
your time.
apologize, it's just, we really want to make sure we understand what you guys are asking for, and that we don't either break the law or do anything inappropriate. And so I think we figured that out, so thank you. And I'm happy to come back and speak to the board again if anybody isn't sure exactly what's going on, and I'm happy to bring Tracy and Mr. Hannon. Mr. Elwood, I might ask you to come though too if we'd like to have a meeting like that, but happy to meet with anybody in the neighborhood who wants to understand the issue, but ultimately, my big thing is just, if it's a private issue that's the responsibility of a private entity, we got to make sure that as a city, we're not subsidizing a private entity's responsibility without a fair agreement that could apply to everybody. And we're happy to work on that if that's possible. We just need to understand what's being asked. So we have the addendum by and between Local 150 and the City of Portage. Ken, this isn't a city council meeting. We don't have to actually like read it like a first reading, right?
Mayor and local 150 operating engineers worked out an arrangement to charge the employees $1 a year, which is necessary because the city is going to be paying a bill that they're going to get a credit
think so. As long as I read it right, too.
It's $1 per month though, correct? Not per year?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And then that gets us to the approval of the 2026 storm budget. Did anybody have any questions on the budget? And I think Dan is able to answer questions if need be. I've seen the budget, but I'm trying to find it in here. Sorry.
Motion to approve the 25-26 budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Did you guys have a chance to take a look at the claims, and were there any questions or motions regarding the claims?
Motion to approve the claims for $157,365.15.
I second paying the claims.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any other matters to come before this body? Dan? All right.
As you're aware, we bought that new chipper attachment that goes on our Bobcat. And I don't need anything from the board, I just wanted to kind of inform you. I'm gonna need to get a bigger trailer because we can't fit both attachments we need to put on the machine. So we gotta take it out there and then come back, pick up another attachment, come back. So I went through Sourcewell and I found a trailer it's like $32,000. It's just gonna come out of my capital, but I just kind of wanted to let you guys know and to tell you that if you wanna go to the street department, you can see right behind all the buildings, you can see what we did with the machine. And if you look on the other side, you'll see what it looked like before, just if you guys wanna go look. So, but I just kind of wanted to make the board aware that I was gonna do this. And since it's Sourcewell, I don't need no bids or nothing, and it's gonna just come out of the budget. So, but yeah, if you get a chance, go in and look at it. You'd be amazed. Thank you.
So do we need a motion on that?
No.
No, it's just letting us know?
Yeah.
All right.
Information I forgot about.
Any other matters or a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.